As a very young child, I recall visiting my uncle, and he had this big cathedral-type radio, and the thing that really fascinated me was the dial had cities and countries from all over the world. His brother had a smaller portable radio from Zenith, which also had a bunch of foreign names on it. And I was fascinated not only by the dial, but all the controls on it. We weren't allowed to touch either of the radios, so I never got to listen to them. Recently, I started thinking, well, maybe I want to go into shortwave receivers. And I didn't want to invest a lot of money into it, so I looked for a cheap introductory. And I found this portable radio. It's the XHDATA D-219. It lists for $13.68. At AliExpress, I was able to pick this up for $6.33, an introductory price. With taxes and everything, it cost me $7.30. It's a portable AM, FM, and shortwave radio. Has a total of 11 bands, which includes the FM band, which is broken up into two segments, the latter of which is useless in North America. We also have 9 shortwave bands. And finally, AM, we use a slider to select the band that you want to listen to. Unfortunately, this 219 is set up for international broadcasts. So on the AM band, it goes from 522 to 1620 instead of 520 to 1710, which is what the American AM dial is. But for $6.33, I figured you couldn't go wrong. Took 7 days to get the radio. The unit measures 5.5 inches by 3 in height by 1 in depth. The telescopic antenna is 21 inches long. It does not include batteries or a power supply. It can be powered by external power if you get the right adapter. Takes 2 AA batteries. Controls on the right-hand side include tuning dial, volume control, hefty amount of volume out of this small radio, so the speaker's halfway decent. It's not by any stretch high fidelity, but it has quite a kick to it. On the top, you have an on and off switch, headphone jack, and an input for power. Backside has a kickstand, frequency indicator, and of course, the telescopic antenna. I would imagine your first question is going to be, what's the sound quality like with the speaker, and what's the receiver sensitivity? Well, it's just a tiny speaker. I think it's like 1.5 inches. So it's not high fidelity. It's decent. It actually sounds a bit stronger to me than you would expect from a radio this size. This is a digital receiver, not analog, even though the display seems to be analog. There's a storm outside. The problem with these receivers, of course, is just electronic noise in your house. So electricity, radios, speakers, computers, cell phones, storms, they're all generating electrical noise, which makes it pretty hard for these receivers to do their job. So ideally, you'd want to be outside of that. So if you're outdoors, you tend to get much better reception. Or if maybe you attach an external antenna to this telescopic, that could improve your chances of receiving distant stations. After the storm, we followed our advice and moved away from the house out in the open, so you may hear some background sounds, which I can't do anything about. With the radio tuned to shortwave 4 at 99.55 kilohertz, we heard this.
Que las autoridades de la prisión, la biblioteca de Matanza, le han suspendido el acceso o el pase a un régimen de seguridad por 6 meses.
About this flow, about this gift, instinct leading me right up your alleyway. Skip the moet, let's chill with some alleyway.
And now for a listen to one of the local FM stations. But this time we're going to feed the audio output from the headphone jack into a digital recorder so you don't hear all the ambient sound.
There's something that feels real, and it's something that feels real.
Now we're listening to a local AM station.
And it's a pity that most people like me have to try everything for themselves.
A quick tip, when listening on shortwave, move the antenna about as you search for the strongest signal. At times, that may mean pointing the antenna horizontally and not vertically. Some of the advantages of this radio are its small size. It's an all-digital tuner, which makes for better reception. The fact that it just takes simple to find AA batteries, good sound for the size of the speaker, and the ability to get you AM, FM, and several shortwave bands. It's simple to operate and lasts a long time on batteries. The only disadvantage to this radio is the analog dial doesn't give you an accurate readout of what frequency you're exactly on, and that could be a little bit of a disadvantage. Considering the low price and the ease of use, I can recommend this radio as something you might want to get if you're looking to explore shortwave or if you're just looking for a good AM, FM radio. If you found this video interesting or useful, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, join the subscription team, and as always, thank you for so much for watching.